Welcome back to the On Deck Circle podcast brought to you by the Face of Six Pack. I am your freshly groomed host. Finally got a haircut. I think the last maybe like month or so I've been strictly hat on, but I'm glad that I now have a haircut. As you can now see, I also have a Peloton bike behind me.
Ooh.
No, we are not sponsored yet by Peloton, but yeah, getting that summer beach bod ready. So again, I am your fit host, I guess, Nick Zaniboni. I'm with my very good friend Jason. Jason, as you know, my favorite thing of the week. Unfortunately, some of our guests do not guests. Some of our viewers don't like our answers for the cold open question of the week. But do you want to know what I have to say about them? It doesn't matter what you think. That is my Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson impression. We are here on WrestleMania week.
Oh,
I am excited. I'm ready to roll. Jason, I know you've been recently dabbling. I know your son or children are like somewhat into the wrestling thing now. They're getting into that age.
yeah.
Will you be watching WrestleMania?
That's a good thing you brought it up because in my mind I was like, I need to watch WrestleMania this year, and then I
Yes.
didn't realize it was this weekend. So
Saturday,
remind me.
Sunday night.
Okay, so it is Sunday, even with the holiday.
2 nights. Wait, what is Easter? I was like,
Easter.
what is the holiday?
For us Christian people, we have
Yes, I am also Christian. I am familiar with the holiday. But in my head, since I am a Bostonian, Monday is Marathon Monday. So I
okay.
was thinking of like that, like in my brain of like Marathon Monday is the thing.
Yeah,
so,
no, I'm looking forward to it. I'm a huge Logan Paul fan. I know it's like a hot
Logan
take.
Paul guy. Huge.
I'm a big Logan Paul guy.
AJ Styles. I believe that's going to be Sunday. And
Okay.
I'm taking that as the match to steal the show.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, my question has nothing to do with wrestling. Just wanted to get our viewers in on what I will be watching this weekend. My question is for you. Is that so? As I said, Marathon Monday's a big deal here in Boston. The Red Sox start at 11 a.m. I will be going on Monday to the Sox at 11:05. And even more so since the marathon bombing, it's a very big Boston day. I want to know, other than St. Patrick's Day, because I know that's a big thing in Chicago, is there another day in your area, even if it's like in your city, your town, whatever, is there another day that's special and that's exciting? All right?
Mhm.
Ready, set, go. All right, Jason. So what do we got?
Yeah, you kind of stole the thunder. I mean, St. Patrick's Day is pretty much the unofficial holiday. It's the unofficial Chicago holiday. The whole city goes crazy for not just the city, the suburbs. Everybody goes crazy for St. Patrick's Day here in Chicago. But if I had to choose one other, like, quote unquote holiday for this, the city goes a buzz for, and it's got to be Lollapalooza. That's one of the big not just music festivals for the country, but also obviously the biggest one in Chicago. People come in from all over the country for it. It's a huge tourist time for Chicago, and I guess I got to go with that. But 4th of July is also a huge town for Chicago. Fireworks over the lake. But if I had to pick between those two, it's Lollapalooza because it's significant and special to Chicago. Everybody has 4th of July.
I believe an artist that shall not be named because he's a little crazy said fireworks over Lake Michigan. I'm coming home. I'm coming home again.
You got it, baby. Summer in the Shy is unmatched.
Yes. So Marathon Monday, pumped for it. Gonna go to the Sox game with the boys and then meet my wife after.
Nice.
So let's see.
I thought you were going to tell us you were running in the marathon.
No, maybe soon. In the next.
You got that Peloton. You got that Peloton, man. Let's get these legs in shape.
Yeah, I'm not a runner is my thing.
Yeah,
I would like
so
to
boring.
be, but
so boring.
every single person is like, Nick, you're 6'3". You have a runner's like I'm wiry.
Right.
Like I'm Gumby though. So like I have like my arms are going everywhere. So enough talking about my body type, but pumped to get to Fenway. Unfortunately, so this I will segue into some baseball now. I got a text from you maybe Saturday night or Friday, and it was just talking to my brother. Wants to do a wellness check on you because the White Sox are beating the Red Sox. Yeah, Jason, I would love to say that was the low point of my Red Sox season. But no, Jason. Do you know who I traded for yesterday at about 11 a.m.?
Oh, I don't know.
The answer is Tanner Houck.
Oh,
do you know what Tanner Houck did last night?
I believe he got what they call a triple-double.
He got the triple-double. And my man, I have been.
Is this in a head-to-head weekly league or is this a roto league?
It's weekly, so that's fine. If this was a head-to-head, my season would be tanked.
Right.
But we see the 11 earned runs. And so we both know Mags, right? You know Mags from 30 Rock. That's who I'm playing. And I was worried I wasn't going to make innings this week because I lost Pablo Lopez, I lost Jack Leiter. So I said, you know what? I've got 2 starts out of Tanner Houck. One versus the White Sox, one versus the Rays. The Rays, they're
mid.
It's fine.
Yeah.
But first inning, 3 runs. I said, okay, that's fine. Whatever. 6 runs. Okay. I can deal with this. Let's just hope my other pitchers can pick this up.
Yeah.
10 runs. I was like, all right, I think I'm just going to lose my ERA. He did get some strikeouts, which was good. But now I am just terrified. So, I'm sad. I went through the stages of grief after my trade. I traded Bryson Stott, which isn't anything crazy. So it wasn't like a gigantic mortgaging into Tanner Houck, who's had an awful start of the season. He would not be a trade target in this show. But Jason. So that's all I got.
Well, that's a good segue because this week we are talking trade targets for your Dynasty Baseball League. Got a few names here from both of us. You can kind of go out and look to see, think about trading for it. It's early in the season. It's kind of hard. A lot of guys, a lot of teams are still in it trying to play for this season. But you could get some of those players. I know a couple leagues I'm in a total rebuild. It's going to take a few years. So could be some helpful information here in this episode. But before we get into it, we have some breaking news about 2 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah.
Matt Shaw, the Cubs, was sent down. I just so happened to have a banner from last week. We talked about him last week. Was it last week or the stock up, stock down?
Yep.
Stock down for sure. Even more so than we talked about last week. He's just been doing nothing at the plate. He had 1 home run. I believe it was in the Tokyo series. He's been doing nothing but walking, striking out. Definitely looks overmatched at the plate. A lot of swing and miss in that swing right now. So, unfortunately, I don't know if this is going to be a short-term or a long-term. If I had to guess, I have a feeling they might give him a little bit of extended run down there in the minors until he can get, it's going to be a little bit of a confidence boost. But I think it's a little bit more than just a week or 2. I don't know. I think it's probably about a couple weeks at least before they can get him back up. They also probably sent him down because not only that, but they needed pitching. Justin Steele to the IL. The bullpens looked awful. I know I saw some of the corresponding moves. They've been calling up some of the bullpen pieces. Luke Little's back up. So I think he's a little bit of he needs a confidence boost as well as he's just a person that they could send down his options. Someone had to go down to bring some people up. So unfortunately it was Matt Shaw this time.
Yeah, this is something that obviously in the lens of dynasty owners you're holding.
Yep.
This is expected. It's a 23-year-old. Like again, not everyone can be Christian Campbell, who is just like on fire. But yeah, definitely not a panic for a dynasty league. For redraft, I'm cutting him. I probably would have cut him already for redraft purposes. But yeah, I'm not worried through the
Yeah.
dynasty lens here. But like again, we need to see him if he can just get some like a confidence boost there. I think that's definitely gonna be helpful. But yeah, I'm not entirely worried because he was the like approach was there because I it sucks when the only positive thing we said about him last week was well he's walking. So
Yeah.
like that's great. Like his like OBP wasn't bad, but it's just that average. It's sat at I think 170 like
Yeah.
ish. So yeah, I think this could be a good time. And like even like Nico's back, there's just like a lot more players there. So I just think that this could be the right time.
Yeah, I agree. All right, well, that's the breaking news. Let's get into some of these trade targets we got here lined up for you guys. We'll go and start with your first guy here. That's Edward Cabrera of the Marlins.
Yeah. Ed Cab has always been someone that I've just been kind of after, like just waiting for everything to click. And it's tough when they are Marlins because Marlins are kind of always kind of shitty, if we're being completely honest. But so far this season, he's only pitched one game, but it wasn't bad. He went almost 6 innings. He had how many earned runs? His ERA is 1.8, 1.18. The whiffs are there. He's always been someone that has the tools. It's just a matter of health with him. So I'm banking on him being healthy. I think you can probably get him relatively cheap just because he is a Marlin. He is kind of that post hype prospect mold. So definitely someone I'm targeting. I really don't think you would have to pay like a crazy amount. And yeah, he's just someone that I targeted in a lot of redrafts as well. And I think this past week, so just behind the curtain a little bit, every Sunday, Jason and I hold each other accountable for TJFBI claims, just because that's the hardest part about TJFBI is
Mm-hmm.
actually remembering to do claims. And I think Jason told me maybe just look at him. So pitching is hard to come by.
Yep.
He's still young. He's 27, and the whiffs are there. And the whiff rate and barrel rate are my two advanced stats that I'm looking at this season.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm all in on Ed Cab. How about you, Jason?
Yeah. He's one of those guys, like you said, that just can't quit. Ed Cab. The stuff is awesome. The high end velocity is one thing, one thing you can't teach when it comes to pitching, and that's velocity. He's got the high end velocity. You see here, he throws a lot of his, he does a good pitch mix, and he doesn't rely on basically just one or two pitches. He throws all of them for a good amount, all for good speed, velocity as well. The break on a lot of it is really, really above average as well. If you look here, the chase and the whiff rate are also, top 20 percentile of the league or 80 percentile of the league. Still only 27. I think a lot of it from him too has just been staying healthy. We haven't really seen him get that full season of starts yet so far. I think entering his age 28 season, he's still basically entering the prime of his pitching career. And someone that you could probably get, like I said, for cheap. I can't imagine somebody that the owner of Edward Cabrera is holding on to him very strongly. So you could probably get away with a couple flyers or maybe like a middle round pick.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing, right? Is the cost on him. The K rate's always been super great for him. The biggest thing for him is just staying healthy and staying on the field. And if you can do that, I mean, great trade target for sure. All right, from Edward Cabrera, we'll go over to my guy here. Someone that I was really, really excited to talk about. And then I was looking at the transactions for today, and I saw that Joe Boyle of the Tampa Bay Rays was sent back down. Unfortunately, the good thing about Joe Boyle though is, or for any instances, it's Dynasty League. So just because he was sent down doesn't mean he doesn't have any value. Especially because there's only been one start so far. He was actually sent over from Athletics to Tampa in this offseason in the Jeffrey Springs deal. I was always really fully on board with Boyle. It's kind of similar to Cabrera, just that high end velocity. He was just never really given a chance with the Athletics. He did, log some starts over here and there with I keep on calling Oakland.
Yep.
He logged 10 starts last year for the Athletics. He's always had control issues though. Always with some of these hard throwers, the control is always going to be that's the problem with a lot of these guys that can throw hard, but can they throw for strikes? That's always been right now has been Joe Boyle's downfall has been the control. High end velocity, good pitch mix, fastball, slider, sinker. Really relies heavily on this fastball slider combo. Throws them for over 50% of the time. Fastball sits in the upper 90s. I'm ready to, now that Boyle's on Tampa, I was already kind of in on Boyle and it's someone I can't quit. But now that he's on Tampa, I'm going to put my faith in Tampa and that they can really develop and tap into Joe Boyle's ability and maybe tell him, maybe take a little bit off on that fastball. Make sure you're throwing for strikes on those when you're behind in the counts and things like that. But Joe Boyle's one of those guys that I can't quit. And I mean, even kind of like similar to Cabrera, I think he's someone that you could probably get. Shit, he might even be on some of these shallower dynasty leagues waiver wire, depending on how deep the league is.
Like 12 to 15 team leagues, I think Joe Boyle is maybe not 15, but like in some 15, I think he is definitely available. I want you to look at that page, Jason. Tell me what my favorite thing about Joe Boyle is, and you can see it on that page.
I don't know. It looks like you.
No? Okay. I'll take that. He's a little guy. Close though. It's close to the looks.
Okay. He's jacked.
6'8".
Okay.
250. The dude is a horse.
Yep.
All in. The Rays traded for him. They are one of the orgs that I have that little check next to, and all in on Boyle. And also, to be fair, all in on Jeffrey Springs as well.
Yeah.
But
I've been on Springs for a while.
Yes, but Boyle, definitely someone that I'm targeting. I think him being sent down is even more helpful for someone trying to get him because you see how his start went. It was whatever. Mm-hmm. But I think that this could be a good time to try and get him because there's going to be a point where you won't be able to.
Yeah, still only 25 years old. And I think, basically he wasn't sent down because of his output or his production. He was basically sent down because they don't have any room for him right now in that rotation. But if it's one thing that I know, it's going to be Tampa Bay pitchers getting hurt. Shane Baz, Taj Bradley, these guys are going to get hurt. He's going to be up. He's going to be making starts. I would imagine he makes more than 10 starts like he did last year for Oakland. So get him now while you can, because if he gets locked into a permanent rotation spot for this year and then not only this year but for the future, and especially if Tampa Bay can hone in that velocity and that control, I mean, wheels up for Joe Boyle in the future.
This is a great call, Jason. And just for the viewers, I told Jason to not tell me any of his players. So yeah. I'm learning with you, the viewer.
Nick likes the element of surprise when it comes to trade targets.
I do.
All right, from one pitch, we're pitcher heavy, and that's not I know that maybe not you, but I prefer pitching, especially when you're going to be trading for it. The best thing to do is trade for pitching, draft hitters. So you see a lot of starting pitchers in this this episode. It's why, because that's what you should be doing in dynasty leagues. You don't draft and hold these pitching prospects for 10 years. You trade from when they're about to break out, and you draft all the hitters as much as you can in your first year player drafts. That's just I mean, I don't think that's just on the Deck Circle podcast. I think that's like a pretty well known fact when it comes to dynasty leagues. But what do I know? Let's get into some more starting pitcher prospects, or not prospects, and starting pitcher trade targets of yours. Roki Sasaki.
Yeah, so this is actually funny with from your segue, because this is someone that was just drafted in your first year player draft.
Yep.
But I think right now is the time that you go to the panicked Roki Sasaki owner and give him an offer, whether it's prospects, picks, even like real players, because the only issue here has been is the amount of innings. He hasn't really been able to get deeper in a game, and everything else I think is kind of there. He's not giving up a bunch of runs, obviously relative to the amount of innings he's been throwing. Strikeouts, I think he projects to be a higher strikeout guy than he's been showing so far. The velocity's there. I think again we're looking at I feel like we've talked about Roki the last like 3 weeks of just like, are we panicked about him? Should we be targeting him? So again, he hasn't showed me anything that he doesn't belong. Obviously, one, he's not being sent down. He can't be sent down. Like, it's just like he's there. The Dodgers are two-pot committed here. But he's a 23-year-old starting pitcher that has like amazing stuff. If you really like watch him throw the whole like Japanese pitcher thing is they teach them how to pitch, not how to throw. I think very much like a Mason Miller. He knows how to throw.
Yeah.
Roki can pitch. So I think right now we're quote unquote buying the dip on Roki. As an example, I currently have a trade offer out for I think it's Mason Wynn, Rhett Lauder, and Jack Leiter just for Roki. So like I think those like top 100 players, couple of prospects, that's the type of deal that I'm looking for to acquire a Roki. So yeah, I'm definitely trying to buy him wherever I can. I don't know if the owner's selling. It's just kind of all matter of like the position of that owner. So
yeah, and I think you could probably taking context into the account here. You got to figure the guy that took Roki is the 1-1, right? So he was his team was already basically in a rebuild, and most likely was possibly even drafting Roki to trade him for prospects. So I think he's definitely viable depending on your league construction. But right now, definitely buy the dip on Roki. I think a lot of it is just adjusting. And we talk about this all the time when it comes to these international guys. You got to adjust to not only new set of baseball rules, but also you're living in a new country across the world.
New culture,
New culture, everything, and nobody around you speaks your language except for your translator. There's just a lot of adjustment periods going on. And honestly, the outlier stats have not been that bad for Roki. The biggest thing right now is just the walks. He's having a hard time finding the strike zone, and maybe that's a issue from going from the NPO to the MLB, but the strikeouts have still kind of been there. The ERA is not that bad. Right now it's just been the walks and the getting people to chase a lot of the secondary pitches. I would absolutely be buying the dip on Roki. I think it may be even till like after the All-Star break to start seeing some of these results that we're looking for, and absolutely you'll get results in 2026 and beyond, because this dude's a stud. He's still only 23 years old. The abilities and all that's there for him. So absolutely buy and go check on that. What do you call him? The panicking Roki owner, and see what you can get. See what you can get.
1,000%.
Yeah, get him on the low while you can. Love it. Well, it's kind of funny because I didn't even mean to put him in this order, but we also have my guy here, another Japanese import. That's Jung Hoo Lee of the Giants, who is on fire to start 2025. Came over last year. People were pretty high on him last year. Unfortunately, missed a lot of the season with injuries, and a lot of it when he was playing was also, like we talked with Roki, was adjusting to the MLB. But right now, he's out to a great start in 2025. He's got a home run, 13 runs, 7 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, a 255 ISO, a 182 WRC plus. This is a guy that had a ton of success in the KBO. we're starting to kind of finally see a transition now into the majors. Again, all last year, missed most of it. I think he played about 30 to 50 games. Doesn't have a ton of power, but right now, I think you can kind of get in on the ground level. So I guess last year would have been the ground level when he was hurt, but we're only 2 weeks into the season this year. I think he's a guy that can give you, 15 to 20 home runs, maybe even 25 on, get some of those road home runs. Right now, the biggest problem with Jung Hoo Lee's power is he's a left-handed hitter, and I don't even know what it's called, Oracle Candlestick. What the hell is it called? Oracle Park. That right field wall is not conducive to left-handed power, but we've seen him hit 20-plus home runs in the season before. So I think you can definitely get 15 to 20 for sure, possibly even 25. And then you're looking at about 180 to 200 RBIs plus runs every year while maintaining high ratios.
Yeah. So Jason, I'm the opposite here. I'm trading Jung Hoo Lee as soon as I can. I just don't know if this is sustainable. And like the profile itself, he's not going to hit you 30 homers. I just don't see that happening at all. So I think you can probably cash in on the quick early value of the hot start. Again, like he's a fine player.
Yeah.
But he's someone that I'd be looking to move for like a more I don't want to say no, especially as like an outfield, like a 20-25 home run outfielder is kind of, I don't want to say a dime a dozen because
right,
but like that profile is found pretty frequently. So I would probably try and trade him for more of a
some more power,
harder, like a second baseman, like a high-end second baseman, or like a good shortstop, or include him in your Roki pack. Like just because again, you really have to, their first like 2 months is just kind of like gauging like, okay, is this start sustainable? Is it real? Or is it that like blip in the trend? So again, this is just one that I'm trying to deal, but yeah, it's a hell of a start. He was someone that I was targeting heavily last season, and I got burned because of the injury. So maybe that also is my my blind spot in this.
Yeah, no, I think you could probably profile him as like a Luis Arraez, but with more power. Like Arraez hits like 5 home runs, and Jung Hoo Lee hits like 15 to 20, but still hits for over 300. Not going to win you a batting title, but he'll get you those counting stats, a little bit more power, and give you some good ratios. I think he's got a lot more value in batting average leagues than OBP leagues because batting average is just abysmal across all of MLB. Not just
it's so bad, man.
So bad.
Swing and miss the last I guess just like not month because it hasn't been a month, but like it's been so bad. And I do think the weather is an issue in the Northeast. So it's also not a coincidence that he plays for the Giants. So
right. I mean, basically the whole like Midwest and Northeast have just been like barely breaking out of spring weather yet. So it could definitely be a lot of that and play here too as well. So, but we'll see going forward on what happens with Jung Hoo Lee. I get to totally agree on your. You can also sell high extremely well right now on Jung Hoo Lee. Before we get into some of these other guys here, we'll take a quick minute here and talk about the becoming a member at FantasySixpack.net. You can get access to a ton of great things like all of our fantasy rankings, both baseball, football, hockey, basketball, all that great stuff. We got DFS optimizers, we got betting props and all these great betting content, as well as a Discord you can become a member of. You can go into that Discord, get a ton of personal questions answered, league customization questions answered, all sorts of great stuff by becoming an all-access member today at FantasySixpack.net. That's the business spiel on the all-access membership. Let's jump over some more guys here. We'll talk about one of your guys here, and this is also a classic on Deck Circle talking point. That's going to be a Jarren Duran, another homer pick here.
All right. So Jarren Duran. This is going to actually surprise you a little bit, Jason. We're buying the dip on Duran, but mostly because the expectations were too high. He had I don't want to say he got MVP votes. So like I don't want to say an MVP season, but he got MVP votes last season, and that's not who he is. So the expectation for Duran was way too high going into the season. What we're seeing right now is not who he is either. It's that weird, like he's between the two players. He is the all-star, probably. He was the all-star MVP in last year's all-star game. But what we're seeing now, there's just something going on with the Red Sox in general. They just don't want to hit, and Duran seems to be leading that charge. The only thing that's really going for him is his sprint speed, and he can get you those singles. I mean, doubles that should be singles just from like a shallow ball hit to center, right, or left. But this is also like a redraft type of thing. The person drafted, his ADP was within the top 20. Like, that's nuts. That's not who Jarren Duran is. Just because he had such a huge season last year. But he's a top 20 asset in redraft, and that owner is panicking. Panicking. The Dynasty owner as well, probably kind of like, what the hell's going on? I just did this. Like, who is this player? Especially with he didn't have like the easiest. He was very highly touted. He was like Jared Kelenic good. They were like, okay, it's like Kelenic. It's Duran, and Duran also had a tough time, but he seemed to turn it around. But the beginning of this year, I'm just they've played a lot of games here at home. It has been much like where you are, Jason. It has been absolutely abysmal here. It's just like rain. It's cold. It's everything. So, yeah, I think just kind of kick the tires on Duran, see where that owner's at. He's someone that I love rooting for. Have you watched the Netflix show yet, Jason?
I have not. I've heard that I need to watch it.
Yeah,
I haven't watched it, but
the man has a very intense episode. But yeah, so I'm a Jarren Duran guy. He's very easy to root for. But yeah, he's someone that I'm definitely trying to target in a trade, and I think you should be able to get him relatively cheap. Cheap based on the ADP of top 20.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He was being drafted as like a first round pick, and he's basically giving you value like outside the top 10 rounds right now. So buy the dip. We've seen it happen now, both in 2024 as a full-time player and then also in 2023 as a part-time player. Both times had super great success. Great success. But yeah, definitely buy the dip.
How much, Jarren Duran?
Yeah, definitely achieving by a dip on the panicking Jarren Duran owner. All right, jump over here to one of my guys again. Yet another starting pitcher, and that's Spencer Schwellenbach of the Braves. Had a really nice 2024 season, a little bit of a mini breakout now, or in 2024, and now in 2025. I mean, he's basically putting up like top 10 starting pitcher numbers, basically becoming an ace in the making. He's on an organization that knows how to develop pitchers. Don't get me wrong, the price tag right now is probably pretty high, but I think it's only going to continue to increase as the 2025 season goes on and continues to show what he's been doing so far. I mean, just look at the StatCast page I have right here. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick here. It's actually insane.
This is crazy, Jason.
You
are not getting Spencer Schwellenbach.
I mean, in the right situation, I think you could. I think you offered somebody like a Chris Sale or somebody's like maybe these veteran pitchers, a couple veteran prospects, you might be able to get him because for the most part, he's really only had the one season. Granted, it's also another great season right now, but I think you can get him on some of these, shove off some of your veterans here, maybe some more, like I said, some of these guys like Chris Sale and some of these other guys that, have a proven record more so than Schwellenbach, but he's inducing more ground balls. He's increased his K to walk ratio. The 2.38 FIP suggests that this isn't just a fluke. I mean, we saw it kind of happen last year. And one of the best abilities is he mixes all his pitches very well. He's got a 5-pitch mix. You see there at the bottom. Does it all, mixes all through 5 and pitches them all with regularity. Again, price tag's a little bit of inflated, but I think it's worth it. I think he's only 24 years old and he's putting out this kind of production. So if you can somehow get a hold of Schwellenbach, I think you absolutely make that move.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. And I don't know how they keep doing it. It's
Yep.
just so like a second round pick, which is obviously still like pretty high draft equity from the Braves there.
Mhm.
But still, like, it's the SSs. You got Spencer Strider coming back. You got
Yep.
Spencer Schwellenbach here. And he was someone that I feel like late in the offseason started to get this like buzz. And like the helium was there. And like this guy's gonna be a top 5 to 10 pitcher going into next season.
Yeah.
If obviously, like if he tanks, but like if he continues this is crazy. And I don't want to say it's out of nowhere because we did see it last year in like a short stint. His ERA was 3.35. Like that's crazy.
Yep.
We should have seen this breakout coming sooner than it actually happened. But yeah, he's still 20. This is like he's like dark horse for like Cy Young good.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like you said, the it's not super hot anymore because Strider's obviously missing like the first month and a half, but I believe Schwellenbach will probably outproduce Strider for this year for 2025. If Schwellenbach stays healthy and so does Strider for the rest of the year, I think Schwellenbach has better numbers come October 1st.
I'm with you. Nice one, Jason. Good one.
All right, let's go on to one of your guys here. This one's actually going to be a fun one for the next two. We both picked out a prospect that's worth targeting. So we'll start with your guy here. That's Cristofer Torin. Shout out to Cristofer for spelling his name like phonetically. Topher.
Truly. This is actually a throwback, I think, to a Down on the Farm at some point.
Nice.
He's someone that I've kind of been in on for the last couple of years. One thing I want to get out of the way. Cristofer Torin has an awful neck tattoo. It just like right here just says God is with me. God-fearing man, that's fine. Right. God is with me on the throat is wild.
That's a crazy take.
It's a crazy tattoo. But much like me, he's a wiry fella. He's 5'10", 155 pounds. He's still only 19, but he's someone that last year I kind of started hearing about. But he's gotten off to a scorching hot start. In 29 at-bats, he has 13 hits. His average is 448, OBP of 590, seven runs batted, and he has yet to hit a home run. But in the past, he's not going to be your 20, 30 home run guy, obviously. He's a second baseman.
Yep.
But he's someone that I can easily see the Diamondbacks kind of grooming it into being that, like not Ketel Marte, because Ketel Marte is amazing. But I think towards the end of Ketel Marte's tenure, we're going to see this transition into Torin. And so I'm just kind of buying that. I don't see him on many top 100 lists anywhere. He's kind of in that like maybe 200 to 300 range.
Yeah.
So just kind of I'm more committed than a dart throw here. It's more of like I would trade like a second first-year player draft pick for him, like a second rounder. Born the day after me, so that's cool. He's a Gemini. You know how those people are. But yeah, so he was someone that I bought last year. He didn't have the greatest year last year, but again, he gets on base. His OBP last season was 381. Mm-hmm. So just someone that I would just say to continue to monitor.
Yeah, and the Diamondbacks have had a knack of developing these middle infielders.
They typically had Jazz Chisholm.
Yeah. Kettle Marte, Jazz Chisholm, Geraldo Perdomo right now. I mean, the list goes on. They're pretty good at developing these middle infielders. So I'll take a flyer on that for sure. Like you said, not even really a flyer at this point. Just try and get them in your league as you can. All right, go to here to one of my guys here, and this one is a little bit more of a well-known guy, but it's Termarr Johnson. We're just 3 years removed from him being drafted 4th overall. However, I feel like we might, kind of similar to the other guy we talked about earlier, you can probably buy a dip on this guy. He hasn't really, I mean, he's had some decent seasons, but he hasn't had that like breakout prospect season. And so far, we actually kind of have seen him fall in a lot of prospect rankings since being drafted. He's fallen down. He's barely inside the top 100 prospects anymore. He's even been leapfrogged by a lot of guys inside of that Pirate organization. Again, still very young. I feel like we were already kind of getting prospect fatigue on Termarr Johnson. He's about to turn 21-year-old this year. Obviously drafted right out of high school. But I think this season might be that season where we start to see him kind of mature a little bit more and take that next step forward. Get him now, I think, at the early part of the season, maybe as like a throw-in for not a throw-in, but one of the prospects that you get back if you're selling off some veterans. Right now, in this season, he's slashing 310, 412, 448, 5 RBIs, 5 runs, 3 stolen bases in just his first 7 games. So I think you kind of, similar to those other guys, you just kind of bank on a little bit of the dip on Termarr Johnson, and see if you can see where the owner on Termarr Johnson is on his value of overall on him. Because I think some of these guys that maybe drafted him, back in 2021 may have started to get a little bit of fatigue on him because he's not been having bad seasons by any means. All of the seasons in the minors have been over a 100 WRC plus, but nothing that's been like this guy needs to be catapulted up the prospect ranks and into the majors. So
yeah, this is a great call. So I recently, like as of Sunday, took over like an orphaned team.
Okay.
And this owner had too many prospects, and he had Termarr Johnson, and I traded him for Gavin Lux. So like, it's not. It's the exact thing that you're saying. These owners are like, I saw Termarr Johnson.
Yeah,
I actually think in the league that we both just joined, going into this season, Termarr Johnson was in our player pool. And I think we were all just like, yeah, it's fine. Like,
yeah, he went unpicked.
That was us being dumb. But so yeah, he's someone that I think is being forgotten about just because it's like, oh, like he was drafted a while ago, he was top 4 pick, he must be a bust. But no, he's still a player. And definitely someone that you can get for Gavin Lux. Like, so
exactly.
We'll definitely see there. I think that's a perfect for this segment now. So.
Yeah, definitely like a buy low opportunity. Like you said, like sometimes these prospects that come out of high school, they get drafted at 17, 18. Same with the J2 guys. Like everybody wants to draft these guys, but then they don't realize you got to hold on to them for 6 years minimum for them to even make some sort of, I mean, look at even someone like Ethan Salas, right? He was drafted. He was making spring training starts at 17. That doesn't mean he's going to come up and be ready to play at 18 years old. Like These guys, when you draft them this young, they're long-term commitments. Some of these guys can't wait that long-term commitment until they just are willing to dump them. So I think you kind of reach out to the Termarr Johnson owner and see where they are on, some guys, maybe they're still high on them. Who knows? Definitely throw some low ball offers out there, see what you get back. All right. Before we get out of here, though,
Jason, 2-0 last week. We are on a heater, as the kids say.
I would have loved to. I didn't parlay them. I just kept them as separate bets. I wish I would have parlayed them though.
So mine this week is actually going to go back to someone we spoke about a little bit earlier. The game starts at 7:40 Eastern, so you do have time.
Like 30 minutes.
It's going to be the A's money line. We got Jeffrey Springs starting for the A's against Sean Burke. Burke, who is someone I loved last season. He was just kind of like that darling off the waiver wire that seemed to kind of figure shit out. But he's had a tough start. Also, just to go off track a bit, I think we're on Nick Kurt's watch.
Oh yeah,
we probably should have spoken about this at some point.
Yeah,
but like maybe we should start like a segment at the beginning of just like crazy shit that's happening, because Nick Kurtz right now is absolutely on fire, just hitting absolute bombs everywhere.
And moving Rooker to the outfield.
You've been moving Rooker to the outfield. There's an open on the 40, man. I think we see Kurtz by like the weekend, honestly. So if you're listening to this now, go to your redraft waiver wire, see if Nick Kurtz is available. And if he is, pick him up because the dude mashes. And I'm all in on the sack A's, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
so,
this one hurts. I had to drop Nick Kurtz and TGFBI. I grabbed him a couple weeks ago, but we talked about this earlier. My team is decimated with injuries and no IL spots. So these guys are like, I got like guys like Acuna. I got Roman Anthony on my bench who I probably could have. But I'm like, I'd asked you, I'm like, should I drop him?
Nope.
He said no.
He's coming.
Unfortunately, Nick Kurtz was the man that had to be dropped in that format, and it pains me because somebody just picked him up this past Sunday and paid like,
oh no,
they paid a pretty penny for him. I want to say it was almost around $50 in fab dollars for Nick Kurtz, and so he's not coming back to my team. That one hurts.
Yeah,
but I like that one. My pick for this week, going a little bit more ballsy and a little bit more of an output. I got two for you. Like the Mets game is about to start, so I don't really want to give that one. But if you want to tail, if anyone wants to tail, Mets Dodgers money line parlay comes out to plus 154. But my official bet is Adolis Garcia to hit a home run tonight. Is Dinger Tuesday on FanDuel. You get a 50% profit boost. But if you don't play on FanDuel, he's about a 4-1 to hit a home run against Kikuchi tonight. I looked up his career numbers against Kikuchi. He's got about 9 at-bats, already had 2 home runs off of him. Adolis Garcia to hit a home run. He's due.
Yeah, if you're a DK guy like myself, they have a no sweat home run bet every
month. Nice.
So
love the no sweat bets.
Throw the $10 on that and call it a day.
Yeah, at 4-1, can't beat it.
All right, Jason. Well, it's time for me to eat some salmon.
Go get that salmon. Just a heads up, no show next week. Traveling for business, but we will be back in 2 weeks with a brand new episode and a ton of content for you.